There. All right. Well, Josh and Jenna, Susan wrote and said she was not feeling good, and I got a fever from the booster too. So I look kind of like rosy apple cheek. It's kind of cute, but just figured we'd jump on in and wanted to give you all a good update about the murals project. This is getting really good. We're really through the hard part now, I feel. And I was able to request a couple new locations, which was really interesting because
really?
yeah, we had that frustration where we couldn't apply for an intersection that wasn't actually 4 ways. There was like anything that was only a 3-way was not going to work. But as it turned out, after all the myriad of criteria that we had to pass through to get a space approved, they opened up a couple other places. So we've now got Fifth and Tyler, which is really great there by Susan.
Yeah.
And then they let me add another one that I just love. It's right there by Sladden Park. It's Chester and Cedar. So it's right at the base here. I'll show you
That's
guys
a
a
great
little.
one. There's a
Yeah.
really pretty garden. Someone's
Yeah,
house there on the corner has an amazing garden.
it does. I love going to that park and just like catching up on emails or whatever. And I thought, gosh, this would work. So that was exciting that they gave us that. So here, I'll show you kind of my blueprint now. And
That Cheshire cat on Cheshire Street might be a theme to draw into that
Ooh,
intersection
right.
because it is one of the coolest pieces of public art, I think, in the whole neighborhood. And it's so sneaky and secret. And if you don't
by
know it's
the
there, you
little
just right by the,
library.
yes, right by the cute, adorable little library.
Yeah, so it looks like we'll put the dancing bears, that's Barbara's work, will go up here at Chesser and Cedar. And then moving over here, we're still in this great crosswalk sequence where we have Eric Wonderly, Christina with Acquired Immunity, and Tammy a Tree Song. So those will be the 3 crosswalks there. And then jumping over here to Tyler, and I can remind you all that the work, Tyler was the lovely one with the planet and the echinacea and yeah, that's just a really neat one. That's a real showstopper there as folks go into the Owen Rose Garden. And then directly across, we'll have Liza Burns at Clark and Lawrence. And that's going to be so neat. Liza's the artist that just did the state of Oregon new license plate. So we can cycle through them again. But I just wanted to give you a quick update on the map. Yeah, go ahead, Gil.
So, Second and Monroe didn't get approved
No, it
then?
did not.
Oh,
I
I'm
know.
heartbroken.
I know. Me too.
Oh,
Yeah,
that is so disappointing.
some of the most really great places just had so many traffic issues that they just wouldn't do it. So yeah, there was reasons that we were given or that I was given that made sense. And then there was a whole other subcategory of stuff based on further traffic engineering stuff. So
All right, fine. I'll do it in the middle of the night then, because I'm
there were,
tired of people driving from First Street to the railroad crossing like it's a freaking racetrack. People hit 35, 40 miles an hour. We have cats, we have kids.
yeah,
It's dangerous.
it
Um,
is.
I'm so disappointed.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe there's something else we can do there
Yeah, yeah, there's definitely hot spots that really needs
for another
things.
project.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also keep in mind, Gail, that this is such a nascent program. Basically, I've had to work with the city to get it going for us. Like this really hasn't been done anywhere else except for Olive in 24. And so the city's been super gracious, but like the very policies that they're writing were in draft form. And so they're very apologetic that it's been so tricky, like because in the future now, once we accomplish this pilot program, then they will give us more options, the future. Their hope is that things will be really streamlined through this pilot project, and that the next time they'll have a much more researched option for us, and they'll say, here, you can do it here, 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 rather than, you know, me having to like come to them with a hope. So yeah, I'm just amazed we're this far, and there's more to go. So we'll get there. But for now, this is what we've got. It's a lovely little footprint. Down here at Brett Pendlebury's studio, we'll have Brett's beautiful one of Dr. Jonas Salk. And he's just thrilled to be right there by his place. That's really fun. And then over here, Fifth and Tyler, we'll have Elena. That's the beautiful blue kind of mandala one that we all loved with the flowers that says, "We are all neighbors."
Uh-huh.
And then the last one that I'm struggling with is for Wade Love. And, you know, they gave us this section over here, if you can see it, by the Better Living Room. And it's such a sad street though there, because there's too many cracks. And so the last negotiation I'm doing with the city is seeing if we can not focus his work dead center in that big intersection, but actually move it closer to the sidewalk. Because if we can go off center like that, the area that he wants to paint in is actually could fit. Like there's much less cracks there. It's like if you get centered in the intersection, it's a no-go. So I'm holding either that possibility for him or back over here at the adorable, at that little precious roundabout, which would make a lot of sense for his design.
Oh, I like that option.
Me too. That's where I'm really leaning for, because here, if we look at, we could
That roundabout needs
help.
attention.
It does.
Yeah, for sure.
It's kind of a sweet little spot too, because if you remember his, here, we can go over here to look at his piece again is so cool with the circular. It's already got this inner circle here. So I
You
imagine.
have to reshare your
Oh,
window.
oh, thank you. I see that it stopped. Okay. Thanks,
You're
Claire.
still seeing the map.
Yeah, I wonder why it's bouncing around. Oh, let me try to do it again. Oh, it just wants to go back to the map really badly. Okay, why don't I stop share and then I'll get over to this other section and try that again. Okay. Let's see. Sorry, folks. Oh, the technical difficulties here. Where did
Happens to all of us.
yeah, so silly. Okay, let's try that. Yeah, it's just really weird. The Zoom screen is like stuck on one. I have I have so many desktops open. It's probably why. Oh goodness. Okay, why? Let me kill this. And yeah, that's a new problem here. That's probably because I'm feverish. Okay, why can't I do it? Okay, folks, I'm sorry. Let me figure out why I can't get there.
I can try to share it.
Did that work?
Mhm.
Okay. If it goes crazy again, thank you, Claire. Will you share? That's great. So anyway, sorry about that. I was just saying that this neat middle part right here will be really sweet if that's inside the roundabout circle. And then we can move the rest of this really neat kind of iconic work that he does around the side. So let's just actually, for Gail and Jen, we can run through the selected folks again. These are our bears, which are just adorable. They're little dancing bears. And they all have frontline worker kind of identification on their clothes. Or wait a minute, that bear has no pants on, but I guess. And then we've got Tammy, a tree song. This is really lovely, the acquired immunity piece. And we actually have a lack here of what's called the Continental Crosswalk. So she will actually be doing the crosswalk that's at Jackson and Clark. And more of the design will show because the white bars weren't inherent of that crosswalk. And then we'll have Liza Burns. This one's so fun. The Mr.
Love
Frizzle's,
that.
yeah, Mr. Frizzle's bus careening through the bloodstream. It's really
Her
cool.
art's at the Eugene Airport now too.
Mhm.
Yeah,
What does she have there?
might be another travel organ commission, but it's a big wall.
Nice. Good, good.
Yeah, I really like her.
Me too. Yeah, and the contrast that she was able to get for us there was really good. Then we've got Tyler Schmaltz. This is just one of my favorites. I love these colors and just,
Yeah, it's really beautiful. It looks like echinacea, actually. Those flowers, I think they're purple coneflower echinacea, like a healing flower.
yeah, it is. Yeah, it's so sweet. And then we've got the by hand. This is so sweet. Here, let's see. This one's a little bit better to see. These are all folks touching shoulders, and they all have the Band-Aid. And then this is the lovely We're All Neighbors. So this will be Fifth and Tyler. And we got our fun little protected together animals there. That's Clark and Grand. And Clark and Adams with the roundabout. And then Jonas Salk. So that'll be Second and Lawrence. So yeah, they're really coming together, and I wanted to share these now. We're in that stage where we're going to have to begin our neighborhood notifications. And I'm just thrilled to have gotten these in the works here. So Emma was able to put these together before she left on her trip. And they'll be basic, just a real postcard size. And there's a couple things we want to change on them still. Our new social media manager is going to hop in there on Canva and do a couple more things so we increase the equity of folks being able to communicate with us if they're not internet prone. So I'll go ahead and we'll add the PO box for the council so folks could write if they didn't want to go through.
Is there a backside?
Yeah, the backside is just a regular postcard like this. So
Mhm.
we'll have that, and then we'll address it. And that's been really interesting because each location has to have the 600 square foot radius around it. So that's been really wild starting to get all that together. But I love how Emma was able to keep to the WCC brand guide here with the colors, but also really give a nice nod to the artist's work. So yeah, let's see, like here.
Yay. I wonder if this is going to be included, those color blocks at the top
Mhm.
next to Whitaker Community Council. Do you have a plan for filling that space?
Up here,
Yeah.
no, I think that's just really a nod to the color in the piece.
Yeah. I would consider putting text up there that says like coming to Fifth and Tyler. Some kind of like headline.
Sure.
Mhm.
Maybe the artist's name too
Mhm.
in that space.
Artist's
Hmm.
name on the front. I would say like intersection mural or crosswalk mural, and then
Mhm.
maybe the
Mhm.
address. I think it's a missed
Some kind of
opportunity to catch
title.
people's eye so that they know why they should pay attention to this. Otherwise, it kind of looks like it might be an announcement for like an art show, and if a person isn't interested in an art show, they might not look further, and then they might be surprised.
I agree.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Well, the text is down here, though. The intersection mural will be located at Second and Lawrence.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah, absolutely, but people won't read that far.
They
you
won't
need
go
to
that
have a
far. Yeah,
headline that says, "This is why I should pay attention to this piece of paper." 'Cause
right.
that little tiny text that takes effort.
Or
Mhm.
say like coming to your street, some
Mhm.
kind of headline that is eye-catching to get them to read the whole thing.
Yeah, I agree too. Do you want more people to see it, or do you need more people to see them for like your metrics, or does it not matter?
Oh yeah.
No, this just has to be part of our good faith of notifying all the people in this huge radius around each one.
Gotcha.
So,
Yeah,
yeah,
so maybe
So it
it's
doesn't
just something to
necessarily
think
matter,
about,
but
but yeah.
I
Yeah.
agree though. If it was a bold headline, people would read it a lot more readily.
Mhm.
If, stave off the accusation that you didn't tell someone. If somebody's like, I had no idea this was going to happen, we can say, well, it said happening soon or coming to your street or
Totally.
whatever.
Mhm. Let's see. So yeah, the top. Yeah, it's really interesting too that, I mean, ultimately we have final say, so if folks are really indignantly opposed to it, it may be a way of further, or like there may be some negotiation involved, but yeah, it's going to be really interesting. I'm my biggest concern, I think, is people where the 600-foot radius overlaps, so like one house may get 5 of these for our, Whitaker Community Council art team walk of murals down Clark Street. So yeah, I hope that it doesn't startle people, but this was just an absolute, requirement for us to be able to do it. So yeah, that's
I
that's
don't anticipate it'll be startling, but people like
no,
to know when projects are going to happen on their streets or around their houses.
they
So if it's
do.
something that makes it clear, hey, this is an exciting new thing coming,
Mhm,
then you'll have people be like, wow, I got like 4 of these. These are happening at like 4 different intersections near me. How
mhm.
exciting that this big project is going to come to fruition, which is a totally different vibe than I'm trying to get home from work and 4 different intersections are blocked and I can't get to my driveway. And who said that this was an okay thing? And why am I just
Yep,
now hearing about it? Right. So we
yep.
want, that's the thing we don't want. Yeah, I like that. Coming soon, Fifth and Tyler. So that it's like, this is a thing you need to pay attention to or
Mhm.
accommodate in your world.
Yeah, yeah, good point. All right, well, we'll see what we can do. Emma's out of the country now, so we'll have to do some fancy work to see if we can make all those changes. But we could certainly try that.
You can just text edit the image. Is it a JPEG? I could just put it in a different program and just add the text to the top. It would take all of 1 minute a piece.
Yeah, we're building them in Canva, so I'm sure we'll have that capacity to do that. So
Yeah.
yeah, good ideas, folks. I think we should jump over now to this paint thing. So this will be really interesting. And Josh, I was kind of hoping for some input from you about this. I'm working off these good folks here at the City Repair Project. They've got
Mhm.
this great, here we can put this into chat too for everyone. This is such a great breakdown of how this stuff works, like what should be used. And it's really interesting too, because the city, when I asked them, I figured the city would have kind of a preferred or a known agency that they wanted us to get. They were just like, we don't know.
Of course not.
Yeah. So, yeah, this fellow is really neat. And I've kind of got a friend of mine introduced me to him, the creator of all this. So it looks like they've got a way, they do these very clear deck stains, or this clear methodology with these solid color deck stains. So it's going to be neat to try to kind of think tank now how we do the stage of it. So I'm going to just stop sharing and jump back to where I can see you all. Thinking about it, now we're like the WCC lawyer now is working to help me figure out how the contracting should go with this, because it's so grant compliant that we really need her input. So once we get through kind of the contractor orientation packets and the W-9s and all these different things, then it'll be the fun stuff to say, okay, now here's how we're going to do your supplies, right? And so this is where I just haven't thought this far ahead. Well, how would this look? Do we, my initial thought is that I would get a materials list from them. Like, an artist is going to kind of have an idea of how much paint they think that's going to take, but the surface of a road is this bizarre new place, right? It's probably very high porosity. It's got a lot of it's got little lumps and dumps. So I'm just wondering what y'all think, because if we get a list from them, and then what the next steps would look like. Do we then say, okay, we're going to gather all this to you and bring it to you? Do we get an account at a paint store? Or do we just kind of, I think the better port of valor is to like divide each of the artists into like an account at the paint store, so that they could have their runners go get more if they run out, because we've got it in the budget. They each have a certain amount of paint ready to go. And then that way we're not overbuying. So
Okay.
what do you all think?
So before, when you were showing, those were specific color or types of paint, like paint color, or was that just varnish and protectant?
Yeah, it's a deck stain and you can get it in different colors. So
Okay, and that's what that guy was recommending, huh?
yeah, that's what they use up there. So
Okay. And then do we know if you can get that stuff locally?
yes, I'm sure we can I'm going to try to get something with Jerry's simply because they're not Home Depot. So,
Yeah.
Right.
but that's harder because they're super far, like we're going to have runners going out to either Springfield or.
Yeah, True Value maybe.
Go ahead, Gail.
Tommy's Paint Pot and Forest Paint are both locally owned local paint companies.
Perfect.
And they may be able to have a product that's acceptable, that meets those parameters. And then, those are both on West 11th. They're not as far as, well, it depends on where you're going, but anyway, they're on West 11th.
Thank you. What was the second one you said?
Yeah,
Tom?
Forest Paints.
Okay.
we've worked with Forest Paint on a bunch of different projects already. They did Isla's mural, and they helped us. We used their paint for the big installation downtown one that we did, the wood one. So yeah, we've worked with them a bunch of times.
Excellent. Thank you,
They'll
guys.
probably be
That's
like, "Oh yeah, we remember you."
great. Yeah, let's start there. That's perfect.
I like the idea of setting up an account for the artists to go and get what they want.
Mhm.
And I can imagine the artists will want to do some tests first and
Mhm.
like play around a little bit.
Mhm.
So yeah, opening the accounts as soon as the contracts are ready would be
Yeah.
great. So they could
Yeah.
start playing and experimenting.
Yeah, that's going to be strange because I agree that maybe like a quiet time of the night or something, they could do a little test area. But boy, has it been hard to get the coordination revolved around how the street closures go, because that I think that's going to be our largest problem, is that folks have to really manage their time, because once it's funny, I asked the city, well, okay, can we, you said that you'd stipulate we'd have 1 day for crosswalks and 2 days for intersections. So I said, you guys didn't specify a time, so I want to say 8 a.m. to 10 p.m. But they kind of laughed and they said, nope, that's not going to work, because we're beholden to the city contractor who brings the street closure swag, like the cones, the blah, 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 however they shut down the street, right? And those guys have this finite work time. So that's so frustrating to me that we can't, really maximize what a day is. So I like what you're saying, Claire. Maybe they can go when it's safe and just try to like wing it and see like what a little section they could do to see how the porosity works. So
Did they tell you what those times are, the traffic?
Not yet. I should know in a day or so. It's, that's a huge, I'm guessing it's just 9 to 5. It's regular
Yeah.
work hours. So we'll have to really coordinate. And I'm excited to do this because I've been asking artists as we go here, like, what kind of affinity groups do they feel connected to? You know, like, where would there be their core team that they would like us to pair them with? So got all kinds of neat suggestions like Red Barn and, you know, their own church or their own rock band, or, you know, there's a kind of a neat connection there. So I think that artists will begin to build their core teams, and then we will use some of our radio spots and our boosted social media posts and Eugene Weekly advertising to really engender a lot of community response in terms of volunteer teams that then will pair where folks are needed. So that's my plan there. Anybody
Are
got?
these all happening at the same time on the same day?
Oh, that's a good question. Yeah, no, it's what's going to happen is the city's told me that we can't do any street closures during the World Track thing. So once I have contracts in hand and we're done, then I have to go back to the city, and then based on any random thing that the city could be doing, whether it's common street maintenance or street cleaning or a traffic light has to be changed, or like suddenly it's a chess game to see where the artists could land. And then already it's getting a little bit clustered because artists are saying, oh, I'm going out of town for this whole month to be with my family, or I have this, you know, and so now yeah, this is going to be really complex, is to try to like get the scheduling done. So, and you know, it's a great question. One thing I'm going to try to do is get us in blocks, you know, so like if, for instance, Liza and Brett's murals that are on Lawrence, you know, that's like, I'm going to say the city, like, we need to close Lawrence for that whole section so that we have 2 murals in one day going, and then that encompasses one event. Go ahead, Gail.
I want you to imagine yourself a person who lives between those 2 intersections,
Yeah,
and you can't trap people inside. It's a health and safety issue. If there were an emergency, you would have ambulances driving over your mural. If somebody had to leave the house for some reason to go grocery shopping or pick up prescriptions, you would have people driving over your mural. I don't think you can actually do that. So
oddly, the city said that they wanted to do that too. So I'm not sure. And again, that's not our expertise. And so I'm just like, however it works, because they have, I guess, some strategy now is they think about the scaling to context. So this is like the last part, but excellent point, Gail. Excellent point. I know that's true. Like, how do we get out? But
just feel like the neighbors are going to be angry. I know if I would be angry if I was trapped in my block with no
Yeah.
egress. I don't live on a block with an alley, so I can't
Yeah.
sneak out an alley either direction. So if you closed the 2 intersections next to my house, I'd be trapped. And I'd be mad even if I was excited about the project. So I wonder why the city would facilitate something like that, unless they're picking
Well,
blocks that have an access alley in the middle. Is that what we're looking at here?
that could be the case. Yeah. Maybe I just described it wrong. I don't mean, for instance, that they're going to close all of Lawrence Street, but we're working in sections so that like we're sharing police resource, we're sharing street closure equipment, we're sharing like business notifications, like all the subsets that come with closing a space. So yeah, forgive me. I think I described it wrong. I was like, shut down all of Lawrence. It's not quite like that, but just in these kind of cluster areas so that there's a ton of egress in and out still, but that we're kind of utilizing time, which we don't have a lot of, and also resources in one place at a time. So, and if it does go like that, I could imagine, based on conversations I've had with them, that we could essentially have like 6 painting events instead of 9, which would be really helpful because we're losing over 2 weeks in the middle of July because of the Oregon 22. So
Mm.
that's the biggest problem in my book, because we just like, I was so excited that, you know, June and July would be totally dry, you know, but I mean, heck, it snowed a little bit, you know, today. So hopefully
Anything can happen.
anything can happen.
Reliably
you-
rained in June.
Yeah. Doriandra, have you thought about like what if an artist needs more time? What if they don't finish with on their assigned painting days?
It can't happen. It just can't happen.
Not
Yeah, can't
hard
happen.
close. Okay.
Hard close, yeah, the city is just adamant. So, and because of the very reasons Gail was just talking about not
Right.
irritating neighbors and all of these things. So, yeah, that's why I'm really super concerned about getting each event super populated with all kinds of volunteers. So, and that should be really fun. That's a huge part of our community engagement goals with the Whitaker Community Council. So, like I said, we'll use our advertising venues that we have and really try to gather folks. So, and I really want us to all be a huge part of that. You know, I would like to assign WCAT folks to each place in each painting event so that, or, you know, you guys pick the ones you want to do, and then you become like core lead team person. And then the artists will have their own subset of like people that they know paint fast, you know, like for instance, Brett and I talked through his theory, and he'll have his brother Travis and then 2 other painter friends in the WIT. So I think we have enough professionalism coming with our artists that yeah, they're getting the scary language, kind of like, y'all, this is all we have.
This is
So
it.
it's showtime. So
Make it work.
And with volunteers and artist teams, there's incentives to help out, right? Like you're working with Yardy and maybe some other food
yep.
to be provided. That's great.
Yeah, definitely. So we talked to I called a Webfoot Printing down there in the WIT, and he's really excited to work with us. I've ordered beautiful like canvas totes, and then Emma will design a lovely mural, kind of WCC, WCAT, or WCAT, you know, like mural project, which will be a nice big silk screen color. And then, yeah, the food fellow, Isaiah, talking to him, he's getting together a menu that'll have vegetarian, chicken, I can't remember, it was awesome, the couple things he suggested. And then my plan is just that we would have these bags delivered with lunch in them and water and sunscreen and everything, you know, so it's
Love it.
going to be quite an event. We need a small kind of army of do-gooders to accomplish this. But yeah, the language, you know, in talking to the artists is just that, you know, this is really, it's got to be done efficiently. So, and I did ask them that. I mean, they're all aware now of how crazy tight the timing is. And, you know, when thinking through like the intersection parts, I said to the city, well, we have to leave the closures in place all night. And they're like, nope, we can't do that. And so I'm working with the artists now to start thinking ahead to, hey, okay, if you're doing a huge intersection, start planning it so that we're gonna just do one side, because we need full dry, you know, by the time they pull the traffic stuff off again and folks start driving over them. So it's yeah, and then, you know, they'll come back and do the other half.
So how much time do they have in total to do
2
it?
days, 2 days of traffic
2
closure
days, okay.
for intersection, yeah, and the crosswalks just one. Yeah.
Okay. So, and you've met with all the artists, or you've talked to them at least?
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, they're excited. People are they're on it. So we're moving.
It seems to me that the best thing to do for their case would be to like paint the backgrounds first and then block out the designs, and then use the second day to like finish the designs and do the detail, because
Right.
I don't know, because it just seems like, yeah, I don't know. I feel like if you tried to do it in sections,
Mhm.
like a corner and another corner or something, you might end up after day 2 like with a three-quarters done mural.
Mhm.
Whereas if like day 1 you spent the whole time doing like the foreground or the background color and then like blocking out the general idea, then you're gonna have like a whole thing. You know what I mean? I don't know. That just would be my 2 cents for the artist.
I think that's stellar advice, Josh. Totally agreed. Yep. Yeah, that's really helpful. Thank you. So
Maybe
thank
Because if on day 2 you don't finish like all the detail, like isn't exactly what you want, it's still not gonna ruin the mural. It's just gonna be a little less detailed. Do you know
Yeah.
do you follow my line of thinking?
Yeah, brilliant. Rather than ending up with like a quarter just not done or something.
Yeah, exactly.
Thank
Not
you.
that I've ever done a crosswalk mural, but anyways, that's fine.
Makes good sense. Yeah. Okay. Um,
Another thought is that maybe folks should show up like an hour before the expected arrival of the blockade. So that way they can set up a pop-up, get comfortable, open up paint cans, like have their team ready, have a go plan. That way it's not just kind of stumbling over each other as soon as the blockade comes, or just
That's
a thought.
excellent. Thank you. Yeah, really great. I was thinking maybe it might be fun also to kind of have WCAT support maybe kind of like get-togethers at Scobert Park or whatnot with teams first, and then like a walk over to the site, similar to what you're saying, Jen, like, a week or 2 in advance so that everybody's getting it in their head, like what we're doing, what has to happen. But I love that calling them an hour early too. Great.
Yeah, that way they're like ready and waiting, and so when folks arrive, it's not like, come on, get it together, it's like they can get started exactly at the go time, and then
Perfect. On your mark, get
Yeah.
set, go.
yeah.
that's exactly what it's gonna be though. Like,
Start painting. Yeah.
it's a lot of work.
It is. It is. Some of them are so complex.
We'll start the clock on them like that, like Ink Master show. Like, okay, clock starts now.
Somebody should be either videographing this whole experience or photographing it with some sort of like documentary style. If we're gonna do these things in a time
I think
period,
Susan's
think we
getting
should
paid
have
to
a-
do that.
is she good? Because we should capture it. This is monumental.
Like a GoPro set up to like a
Something,
little.
yeah.
Yeah, I think we definitely have Emma contracted to do some really good high professional photos that then can be used for our grant compliance part of it. And yeah, that's a great idea. We should ask our videographer, Michael Reyes, who did the Protected Together videos. By the way, folks, those are going to start being on TV soon if you watch the local news. So those are fun to see. So yeah,
Time lapse is a really fun idea.
Yeah.
And that would be pretty cheap. I know that GoPro is always happy to throw free merchandise at something if you put like, oh, thanks GoPro.
Nice. Yeah, that's great. Okay. Good
Feels like a
stuff.
documentary waiting to be filmed.
Yeah, it really does. Yeah. Good. Okay. Those are great ideas.
Andrew, can I just jump in here for a second?
Oh yeah, come
I
on.
don't mean to co-opt the meeting from you at all, but I just wanted to say, because I haven't met everybody that's here. Hi, I'm Gail. I was most recently the co-chair for the Whitaker Community Council, and I'm probably going to run for an at-large position coming up this next election. And so I hope that I can have all of your support, because it's been really a great privilege to be on the board. And because the board needs to have someone on the WCAT, on every committee, there has to be a board member. I'm hoping that you will accept me as your token board member to come to the meetings and kind of keep connection between the community council and WCAT, because you guys are
Sounds
doing
great.
important work. So I hope that's okay.
That will be awesome, Gail. I'll vote for you.
Mhm.
Aw,
Sounds
thank you.
great.
And
Yeah,
yeah, like I
sounds
said,
great.
I
Thanks
hope
for coming.
you'll. Thank you. I hope you'll come on Wednesday and vote for me because gotta get votes. So,
Planning on it. Yeah.
and unfortunately, I'm gonna have to run because I actually have another council member blowing up my phone, and I need to talk to her. So
We'll see you on Wednesday.
I will see you on Wednesday for the election. Thank you all, and have a
Thank
great
you,
night.
Gail. Good
All
to
right.
see you.
Thanks
Thanks
so
for
much.
coming.
Okay.
Okay,
You have a good night. Night.
bye.
I'm sorry, what's on Wednesday? I know
Oh,
this is my first meeting. Kind of.
so the Whitaker Community Council has their board elections. So it's folks will all be kind of rerunning for the chair and the treasurer position. Some of the things are wide open for a potential big shift. So should be pretty wild to see. Yeah, we have a hybrid election going on, so we'll be in person for folks that want to come. It will be at the Learning Center at the Eugene Mission. And it's going to be a nice, like, kind of semi-catered event. So we'll have snacks and tea, and then also you can access it through the normal community council meeting room, which is will be all over social media. So it'll be our first hybrid meeting in since ever. So
I'm gonna try doing it from Zoom, and I've never been part of a hybrid meeting before. We'll see.
Yeah.
How is
I hope it works.
yeah, we're gonna kind of have a rehearsal of it tomorrow night to do a little test run and see if it all works as well as we hope. But
And you just have to have attended 2 meetings in the last year to be able to vote,
yeah, or live or work in the Whitaker.
or just live and work. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, that'll be nice.
it live or work or live and?
Live, own
Or
property, or work. Yeah, any of the 3.
Okay, so just to be sure I heard that correctly, you don't, the 2 meeting rule doesn't apply if you've been living in the area?
Let's look at this, guys. The
Because I thought
election,
you had to have some meeting attendance to vote, but I'm not sure.
yeah, I believe that you are right, Ellen. And let's see, let me look it up real quick. The election is not really in my wheelhouse, but this is a super great question and good time to get clear about it. Let's see. I'm just going to go on the council page. And oops. Okay. What does it say here? Let me try the actual website. Let's see. Well, goodness. Is anybody finding it? Wow, it should really be on the. So, okay, the bylaws. If you live, work, or own property in the Whitaker, you are a Whitaker Community Council member. And there's no election information here. Oh, I know. Let's see. There was a flyer that went out into the neighborhoods Maybe that's has it on there. Flyer. Okay, folks, I'm gonna have to send it to you all. Oh, I found it. Here it is, election flyer. Sorry. Boy, that was hard. Okay, now, does it say here? Okay, got it. Board membership is open to any resident. Oh, it doesn't say how to vote. Hmm. Here, I'll send you what I have. And this is a really good question, Ellen.
Yeah, well, I think I remember that I've been excluded from, like, I think I remember I've declined to come to elections because I've gotten the note in the mail. And the note in the mail said that you had to have attended at least one meeting to be eligible, I thought.
Hmm. Okay.
But I don't remember how recently I saw that.
Yeah, that's going to be super interesting. I remember they were talking about having to, let me see, here's the election flyer. Yeah, like ascertain votability, I guess. And I really think that it's just by off the top of my head, you have to have been to at least one meeting. That's what I remember, but I'm tripped up on the two. Having been to two meetings makes a little more sense, right? So yeah, I'll look into that and send you guys something in the WCAT, our little Facebook chat thing. Okay.
In terms of the street murals or intersection murals, is there anything you want or need help with from us over the
Yeah.
next couple weeks?
Sure, yeah, that would be great. I mean, I think the big hurdle ahead now is just contracts and getting folks all in the books. But after that, just like really looking at it from our 3,000-foot view about like once we get timing sorted with the city and actual dates, then that's where I would just love that we all come together and you all pick one, mural and artist that you want to kind of lead on. And then I will get, in the meantime, kind of a punch list of stuff that needs to happen. Like, we can build spreadsheets together that would have information like the core team, like their cell phone numbers, what time they, like Jen was saying, their start time, end dates. And then we'll be gathering a lot of information, I guess, for the city about who's participating, because they'll be ensuring everyone that's on the ground working at a mural. So we have to, yeah, thank you, Claire. Let's just, as we get closer, you and I can maybe work together and we'll get a form going again that
Sure.
then send to artists, and that will kind of be like an intake of everything that we need from them. And then we can just like plan each painting kind of like it's its own little, party, because it is.
Great.
Yeah, sounds fun.
Yeah. Yeah. Anybody want to call anyone's out that you want to lead on?
What does leading on mean?
Like you become the WCAT representative for the project. So,
And then what responsibilities does that entail?
well, like we were just kind of think tanking it out. You would be there for the event and kind of connect with the core team, the artist.
For all of them though, would that be a commitment for every artist install or for each individual?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Like, so if there's 9 big painting events, right? And if we split up, say, Jen, you work with Liza Burns. So I introduce you to her and you work with her to kind of like coordinate the actual day of painting. And I'll be doing most of that stuff, but like just having a WCAT representative with each artist is really important, I think.
Who's at Clark and Grand?
Eric Wonderly.
Because I live basically at Clark and Grant. I mean, like that's
Perfect.
like I could hop there on one foot.
Perfect. That was so what I was hoping. Like I want you to do that one, and then maybe Susan be the WCAT lead for the one at Fifth.
It's really hard to just blankly say that I'm going to be available without knowing anywhere in the span of multiple months what day of the week and what time of day that's going to be or how much advance notice I'm going to get.
Maybe
But
we
if the
could,
postcards are going out, I assume there's at least a couple weeks advance notice.
Absolutely. Yeah. We'll know.
could we maybe figure out, sorry to interrupt, maybe we could figure out who's closest to which artist, so that way that person has resources. So like access to water, a bathroom, a fridge, ice, so maybe we could be designated to the artist closest to our location.
Yep.
That
That's a perfect plan. Yes. Yeah, very good. Yeah, that is a really good source. So yeah, in that case, like, let's see, we could have, yeah, let's see the one on, yeah, I see like 3 easy ones. And yeah, bathrooms is really important, Jen. Yeah, that's huge. For the one at
so I'm sorry, my studio, I just moved to the neighborhood into a pottery studio with Jamie Vineyards at 225 Blair, like right next to Blair Alley.
oh,
So,
nice. Okay,
I can putz around, with a little cart or something. But
great.
yeah, I don't know what would be closest to me. So maybe we could just give you our address
Sure,
of where our spot is, and then
sure.
you could just, would that be a good
Yeah.
idea to just be assigned an artist rather than picking one?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, that's definitely ideal that folks work with people that are, or the mural locations that are closest to them. That's great. So you're at 225 Blair, you said?
Blair, yeah.
Awesome. Okay. Let's start maybe think tanking that next time we meet, and maybe we'll, in 2 weeks, I'll have some dates for us that we'll get back from the city, and we can do some more planning.
Great.
Yeah, sounds good.
All right. All right. Oh, and thanks, Claire. I saw your note there, Elena or Eric. Perfect. Yeah, it's, I see your point, Ellen. We'll just kind of have to get our dates and then look at them as a group, and we'll just pick where we can, and where we can't, we can't. So we got this.
Thank you, Doriandra.
Thank you. It's really nice to see you all, and we'll see you not next week, but the week after.
Okay, go get
Great,
some
sounds
rest.
good.
All right.
Yeah, I feel better.
Yeah,
Yeah.
feel better.
Thank you. You all take care. Good night.
Okay, bye.
Bye.